Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I am here with my friend and partner, Rebecca Sadek Blumenfeld. Good morning to you, Rebecca. How are you?
Good. Glad to be here. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody.
Awesome. So people may be following you on your page. I think we may have a little bit of a crossover, but for those of you who don't already follow Rebecca, she is a kick-ass, badass businesswoman. She's been in the industry, same industry as me for some years now, and she's doing some online marketing, some of the same things that you've heard me talk about. But actually, what we are here to talk about today is how to get and keep the mental edge you need as a six-figure business owner working from the comfort of your own home, which we all know what that means, sink full of dishes, laundry piling up, and kids trying to get your attention, right?
Yep.
So I know that in my audience, there's a lot of women that work from home. I also run this group, the Seaside Women's Network, which is a local networking group. And so we have a lot of women in direct selling, network marketing, and business owners women who are trying to balance it all, still run a six-figure business, trying to achieve a seven-figure business, right? And so I thought it would be really valuable to go back a little bit and hear kind of your story about your own health. I love to talk business, and I know you do too, but we can save that for another time. What I want to talk about today is how do you really get tuned in, get that mental edge, do what you need to do every day, have that self-discipline, and keep growing kind of despite the chaos that can be created with a home-based business.
Yeah. So thank you, Dawn. Thanks for having me here. And I love that we're having this conversation because I think as, business women, it's not always a conversation that we have. And the truth is that if your health isn't at the highest level it can be at, you really can't perform at the highest level as a business owner or an entrepreneur.
100%.
And personally, that's actually something that I went through over the past few years. Was I went from really being able to perform at a high level, health being really great, to out of nowhere kind of having this massive decline in my health, which caused me to not be able to perform at the highest level.
Yeah.
So I definitely was able to kind of, see the difference, and thankfully I'm back in a really, really good place right now. And I see the difference, right?
Yeah. So what I failed to mention in introducing you is that you also have been a health coach for 10 years. So you've been coaching other probably business women, other moms, other people to their best health when they've had challenges. And probably some of the biggest challenges is that you have seen in your clients is stress, brain fog, low energy. And I know a lot of us have these thyroid kind of issues, this sticky weight after the baby, all that kind of stuff. So bring me back to a year and a half ago before you started this this new system that we're both using right now to get the mental edge. So bring me back to about a year and a half ago when you were so I call it the silently struggling silently. We're not going to ever reach out for help because we think it's supposed to be this way. So bring us back to before you had gotten started with this new system that has given you this edge.
Yeah. So I am not new to natural wellness and holistic kind of approaches. It's something that I've been doing for the past 10 years. Got into health coaching, as you said, about a decade ago, and was, kind of really up on what works and holistic approaches and things like that, and had been using them successfully and helping other people use them successfully. And I don't know if there's any ladies on here who have had babies before, but if there are, I'm sure you can relate to this. I had my first child about 8 years ago, and afterwards bounced back actually pretty well, but started to have some thyroid stuff come up during that pregnancy actually. So, got on some medication for that, and, pretty much felt good.
Yeah.
And then with my second pregnancy, with my now almost 5-year-old, my thyroid issues just got really, really bad. And they kept having to raise my levels of medication. And I just started experiencing this level of exhaustion that didn't just happen during the pregnancy, right? Because that's kind of all right, I'm pregnant, but continued on afterwards for a good couple years.
Such a common story, right?
Totally. Yeah. But to the point where I couldn't perform. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So tell me about that, because you actually were at a level in your former business that most people would want to achieve, right?
Yeah.
So you were, I mean, I think it's possible, don't let me put words in your mouth, but it's possible people were looking at you going, she's crushing it, right? She's like speaking on stage, she's recruiting, she's growing. But you felt like, oh, how can I make this work? How can I get out of bed? How can I take care of my family? Like, so
Yes.
how was that?
It's really difficult. It sucked. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, just to be honest, it did suck. And it is really difficult because I consider myself to be a high performer. I don't know if there's any other
Yeah.
people out on here right now or watching the replay that consider themselves to be high performers.
Yeah, I think most of my audience considers themselves high performers, and they're just trying to get that foothold, right? To
Right.
achieve what their goals are.
Yeah. So I totally considered myself a high performer and I was struggling. And it was really difficult because I didn't want the world to see that this self-proclaimed high performer
Yeah.
who was,
Health coach,
yeah,
right?
health coach, was really, really struggling. But you know, it was back at the point where my youngest daughter was in preschool. So like I was with her the whole day, except for like that hour and 45 minutes she was in school, you know, back when
Yep.
school was like an hour and 45 minutes. And I would literally drop her off and that was my work time, but I would just lie on the couch. Like, I feel terrible. And
Yeah,
that actually leads to massive amounts of stress and anxiety because you start to think, okay, I've got 2 little kids. What's wrong with me?
for sure. And your work time when the kids are out of the house, when you're supposed to be on the phone, talking to people, getting customers, talking to clients, your revenue producing time, like, so is financial stress not one of the top 3 stressors in people's lives, in adults' lives, right? So yeah, so it's a compound effect, right? So you feel like crap, and then you feel like more crap because you didn't get done what you needed to take care of your family, number one, and to take care of your business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what changed for you? So I know that you were introduced to this gut brain axis system that my audience has heard me talk about, my networking group has heard me talk about. So around then, you'd been a health coach for a long time. You probably knew a little bit about the gut and how important it was. And so what did you learn, and what did you find?
So I was at a place where I was trying everything. Like being somebody who's more holistic minded, I was literally throwing every supplement at my problems. I was like, well, let me try this. Let me try this. If I just take more of this, maybe it will like even out and get better. And, I was partnered with a natural nutrition company at the time. So I was taking like extra doses of everything that they offered. And then I was reaching out to friends who were with other companies that I knew had good products. And I was experimenting with lots of other things. And it just wasn't working. My energy was down. I couldn't lose a pound to save my freaking life. And I just, the stress and anxiety of it all was just compounding.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. As a health coach, I was hearing more and more about the gut.
Yep.
Definitely like becoming a topic that was coming up more and more. The nutrition school that I went to actually was about to release a course on gut health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, it was circling in my world. And I was really interested in it. I was reading about it. And when I was introduced to this system that doesn't just focus on the gut, but actually focuses on the whole gut brain axis, I was like, this is it. Like, I don't know if this is going to help me, but I got to try it, because this is without a doubt, like the future of health and wellness. Like there's no question about it.
And we started to hear more in the science world that research is being done at how what's happening in the gut is affecting our mental focus, our mental edge, our energy level, but also things like immunity and like you were saying about your thyroid and your stress level, And so we started to learn all these things about memory, attention, focus, and then anxiety, mood, that kind of stuff. So here's your little one now. So that's awesome. That's how we do it, right?
That is how we do it.
That's how we do it. So
we should be here.
I don't know, honey, but can you give me a few minutes? I'm doing a video right now. Thank you. You want to come sit on my lap? Come on. Okay. Oh, this is how we do it, right?
This is how we do it, right? Yeah. Hey, good morning. So you're learning about the gut brain axis. You learned that there is actually a brand new product on the market, and you're like, what have I got to lose? I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, basically it was there. It was a no-brainer for me that I was going to try it
Yeah.
because I knew that this was like the root. I was reading so much about it. There was so much science, as you said.
Yeah.
So I got on the system, and that was in January of 2018, I guess. Right?
Yes,
That was
it
a
was.
little over
Yep.
a year ago.
Yeah.
January of 2018, and within a few weeks, I felt like myself was coming back.
Nice.
Like the energy started to come back. I started to feel more balanced. And it just continued getting better and better and better, to the point where I, have in 2019 and 2018 had my best years in business ever.
Yeah. So talk about that. So, I mean, we all know in our heads that our energy level and our ability to focus affects our business.
Mm-hmm.
But really, you are such a great example of how your body was sort of like, and your business was kind of. Maybe nobody saw it that way, but you were feeling it in your old business. So now you take this new product, you start to feel good again. And so what about that translates into growing a business?
Everything. I mean, you need crazy mental energy to truly perform at your highest level. Like mental energy is one of the most important things. And when you're living in a place of anxiety, stress, and brain fog,
Yeah.
you think. So how can you, be a high performing entrepreneur businesswoman when you literally can't think? So that's number one.
Right.
Number two is energy. Like I've been talking about this a lot lately. I think energy is everything in business. Like you have to wake up every day and bring the energy because nobody else is going to do that for you.
Yeah, for
You know what I
sure.
mean? It's not like I go to an office every day where like my boss is going to like tell me what to do or get me energized. Like that's on me.
Yeah.
So having that energy come back in my life and having that mental